earlier in the week, you had sent me an email about market volatility. What do you mean by market volatility exactly?
We clearly have higher interest rates these days than we have had for the last 4 or 5 years. Obviously, there's no surprise there. But why are we where we are, and how long we're going to be there? There's a lot of is the Fed going to make any moves? So all this comes into play and decides where the rates are going to be or where they're going to go. Are we going to have any ability to see an increase in in some demand? I mean, I think you probably know better as to like what is in inventory in our current market here, and maybe in Massachusetts as well. I know a little bit about, because I practice, as you mentioned, in a few other states. I do have an idea of what's happening in Florida, for example, just because I practice down there regularly every day. There has been an increase in inventory there. And it's all basically the same kind of factors. I mean, a lot of it has to do with equity in the home. And that equity, is something that, can deteriorate if there's more inventory, more competition on the market. As far as the rates are concerned, I mean, I know that the rates right now for an average, 30-year fixed, which is typical of a first-time home buyer or like a typical mortgage, typical closing purchase, is about a little over 7.125. Where are we going from here as far as that rate is concerned? I think it just depends on a lot of little things. Depends on consumer price index. It depends on what the Fed's decision is, even though it's not really a direct relationship. It depends on jobless claims, like all these economic reports, and a lot of these are happening actually this week, believe it or not. So we don't anticipate a drop in the federal funds rate until towards the end of the year, which might spur demand, which like for us, you and me, we're not sure, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It really kind of dawned on me a different kind of perspective here, right? Because everybody is talking about lowering the inventory being too low and this and that, but now the inventory is picking up. But I think what happened over the past 4 or 5 years, okay, is that we've had low inventory because the mortgage rates have been so low. So the inventory that would have came on and sat, I think what happened was just the rates were so low, things were so affordable, where buyers were just going in and gobbling everything up. So I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing for the interest rates to be in the sevens right now, for a couple reasons, right? Most of our clientele is baby boomers and Gen Xers, Ted. They're selling their property. They're now going into markets like Florida, where the condos are just robust. There's so many right now on the market, okay? Or they're looking to downsize and stay here in Rhode Island, and they're realizing that the inventory problem is no longer what it was, because the amount of homes on the market here in Rhode Island, when you're looking at single family, has increased by 73%, a whopping 73% since February of this year, which is fantastic. So some of that is seasonality, but some of that is also the fact that the prices, the mortgage rates have made it unaffordable for the Gen Z, for the millennials, for the time being, where, hey, if you're a baby boomer, if you're a Gen Xer, you're in command, you're back in charge right now.